Now, we're just 2 days away from restaurants reopening in Texas, but if you decide to take your family out to eat, Stephanie Whitfield says be prepared for things to look a bit different.
For the last several weeks, restaurants have been trying to stay afloat with takeout and delivery orders only. But that changes Friday. Restaurants can reopen if they follow safety protocols mandated by Governor Greg Abbott. First, businesses can only operate at 25% capacity. Valet will only be offered for vehicles with handicap placards or plates. In the restaurant, there should be a hand sanitizer station at the entrance. It's also recommended an employee man the door to limit touching door handles. There must be 6 feet between every party. That includes while waiting to be seated. And no parties of more than 6 are allowed. Customers will only get disposable menus, and tables should be disinfected between every group. There's a separate safety checklist for restaurant staff. All should be trained in proper hygiene and disinfecting techniques. They should wash their hands regularly, social distance when possible, and masks are recommended, but not required. Staff should be screened for symptoms of the coronavirus before work daily. If someone gets COVID-19, they can't come back until 3 days after they've recovered. If an employee is around someone who tests positive, they should stay home for 2 weeks. If coronavirus cases are contained for the next few weeks, businesses will move on to phase 2 of the plan to reopen Texas. That'll increase capacity to 50%. Stephanie Whitfield, KHOU 11 News.